Alright, so I'm finally back with the post-ride footage. It took long enough, I know, but I've been pretty busy. It's currently 80 degrees and 11 a.m. and the high for today is 103. I'm also going on a ride, but so far what I've written on the stump jumper is a few of my local trails and Paladuro State Park here in Texas. As far as Paladuro goes, I'd rate it a 3, and I'd definitely say go there in the spring. Also, of course, the bike performed amazingly. The carbon you're getting, actually let's start out with, I have confirmation that these are carbon wheels. They're specialized carbon wheels. I still can't find them online, but they are carbon, which makes this bike comfortably sitting in the good value area. Now I know you're thinking, how is a $5,500 bike a good value? So let's go over it. We got technically what is an S-Works frame. If you don't know about this, they have the same frame on the S-Works as they do on the Expert, which is this one. The only difference is the coloring and the sticker patterns and whatnot, but for all intents and purposes, it is the same. It's the same geometry, it's the same carbon, it's the same technology, it's the same height. The command post is one of my complaints, not the fact that it does this, but when I was biking with a Amarillo team member, it started not going up all the way. It would go up and kind of jam, and then it'd go down one of its little dots. So I had to pump it up with I had to put air in the dropper post. So now it's very high velocity. But that's not as much as a complaint as it is a worry that I'll have to do that again. I'd rather not. Another complaint of mine is the back wire. This is half of a complaint, but let's get this out of the way. But the back wire, you hear that? Not the hub. The brake line is rubbing the spokes. And so, I don't know what to do there. Maybe that's a question for you guys again. The little square tool from the last video, that was a sag indicator, because RockShox need sag indicators. Let's get on to that. The suspension feels great. Paired with the carbon, I flipped the chip to low, I think. So with the carbon wheels, the carbon frame, this suspension feels really, really good. It takes a lot to get it to jitter level, and it's still not quite there if you're riding it right. Also, the comments of the last video I saw, oh yeah, so this is a large frame. These are tubeless tires and it weighs about 29 pounds. Without tubeless tires and without some other weight reductions, I forgot what they were, it's right on around 30 pounds. So the comment in my last video was a guy telling me that the 1x transmissions are a fail. You should have a 2x or even a 3x. And I know there's a ton online about this, but I'll just go over it real quick. The reason you want a 1x is so that you don't have to shift the front 2 or 3. It's so that you can have easy access to the gears right on your right side, where you can dump up to 5 or go up in increments of 1. It also allows you to put an actual dropper lever instead of the little KS joke or the RockShox reverb thing. As far as gearing goes, 1x12 is excessive. It's a 500% gear reduction from here to here. However, 1x12 is also very nice to have. People think that you're getting a bigger gear here, but you're kind of getting more of a reason to get this bigger, because this is a 32 tooth, so it's still pretty small, but I could go up So you're giving a reason to get this bigger so that the back cog can technically be smaller, or the bottom cog, or the highest cog. It also spaces the area, depending on the cassette you get, it'll space the area between the 11th and the 12th. It'll kind of give a gear between that granny gear. This one doesn't really do that. It's just full-on 55 tooth granny gear, which is easy. Let's give it that. Back to this bike being good value. I know I'm kind of all over the place, and I'll give a full 1x why you should do a 1x video, I guess, in the future, because it is spectacular. And Shimano finally got on board with the 1x12 after probably dodging a few patents and an inferiority complex. But the flip chip is confusing. It doesn't give me an indicator. I've tried to use it before, and I'm going to try again before I go riding this afternoon or tonight, because the flip chip seems cool and I want it at a higher XC mode for what I'm doing. I'm doing NICA races, so this is kids with specialized epics, and here I am with a borderline enduro bike. So I need some smaller tires. These are 2.6 inch tires. There's clearance for 3-inch tires. These are 2.6. They're huge. I think I'm going to get some 2.3 inch ground controls, just because they're going to be a little bit better for that NICA XC stuff, and they're still a really good semi-grippy tire. It's almost Ardent-like, except I'd say it's a little better at multitasking. Grips, I put ODI Rogues on here. I like the Rogues. I've got big Monster Gorilla hands, and the Rogues are big Monster Gorilla grips. The GX is shifting decently. It's more decent than, say, SLX, but of course it's not in the higher tier. But for SRAM to give GX a 1x12 drivetrain is pretty crazy, and you can see a lot of the bikes doing it. Ooh, there's a bird. But you can see a lot of the bikes doing it, and it's a big deal. Onto ride quality, I guess. The saddle is not my preferred saddle. I like a little bit more cushion, but still the same profile. It's a very low profile saddle. This vent is a joke. It does pretty much nothing when you're wearing a chamois or a bib, which I do, but that's up to personal preference. To quote Sick Biker, I don't know ya, but. Upgrades, I think I'm gonna go for carbon cranks, possibly some carbon up here in the headset, but I think cranks are a little bit bigger. I also would like to get better brakes. These brakes don't quite have the stopping power that I like, and I know they are SRAM brakes, so they're going to be a little less authority and more ease, but they still are. Oh, of course somebody starts trimming their lawn, but they're still not what I want, technically, really. With that said, you do have a 200mm rotor in the back, and I think a 160 or 180, I think it's a 160, yeah, in the back.
This is very formal.
180, so 180 in the back, 200mm in the front, for ultimate stopping power. Of course, the Pike Debonair. This charger, I really don't care about. There are 12 settings there, and I don't really use it. That's just my honest opinion. I don't know if the Debonair is exclusively that, or if it actually gives you a better fork, kind of a better recompression, a better feeling, more supple or something. I put a volume reducer in there. It works really good. I've played around with the rebound and got that feeling nice. The bike does feel good. I don't like the look of the linkage back here, but I love the bar and the color. Again, the camera doesn't do it a justice, but it does look pretty cool when it's being rode. I'm not gonna lie about that. There's not much to say. I'm not gonna give you guys a ton of my mediocre riding around Paladuro because I didn't record any, and few screenshots here and there of stuff if I get an editor. You guys recommended a lot of editing software. I've got a friend with Microsoft something fancy, and he's supposed to be pretty good at editing, so I'm gonna edit this video one way or another, so that'll be nice. Hopefully my future videos. I think I'm gonna upgrade the GX. I think I'm gonna go for an XO or XO1. I don't really know what's the difference, but I think the GX is great for a starter derailleur, and I wouldn't expect this bike to put an XO on here, but I am. Of course, you got the 5 gears. Just dump them all at once with the Eagle derailleur, or with the Eagle triggers. I love it. I've done it before. I've gone from mid gear to granny gear just like that on a switchback, and it worked amazingly. I don't think I'd get up the switchback any other way. Other than that, it's all pretty easy to take apart. If you've got a hex ratchet, a torque wrench, or just kind of a long hex set, you can take most of this stuff apart, of course, except for the headset. You need a T25, I think it is, for the SRAM clamps. That's not a big deal to me. The SWAT EMT Mountain comes with a T25. So does my Crank Brothers M19. So does my Jensen Foundation toolkit. So, I don't know. I think I'm gonna get a PK2 eventually, I hope. That'd be great. But other than that, yeah, the bike performs. Technically, it's too good for me. Yeah, I can ride it a lot harder. It'll take anything you throw at it. It'll do downhill, it'll do XC. I think that's kind of the thing with the stump jumper. As far as the SWAT box is concerned, or the SWAT cage, or whatever, the SWAT door, I have a Shimog in here. You might see a screenshot of it. Something I learned when riding, I was wading through water about this deep on my bike, and it started to get really heavy, so I thought water was coming in from the door and filling up the frame. But it's just the drain hole down here. It's filling up from the other side, which is bad for the Shimog because it's going to get full of water and really heavy if I go through any water. And if I'm doing a race, that'll absolutely destroy me. But with that said, it's still a Shimog, and I still have a Shimog. If you don't know what a Shimog is, they're great. I love Shimogs. I would suggest getting them. They're pretty cheap. But yeah, you can't go wrong with a Shimog. That's about it. 780, I would go a little narrower. I like 760s, but as far as bar geometry, I don't think for a low price I can get better bars, better looking bars, lighter bars. They've got a great sweep to them. They've got a great rise to them. And if you get them tuned just right, they feel spectacular. So yeah, the bike performed very well. Carbon felt great. Of course, it's the 11M carbon. Stop mowing, dude. It's the 11M carbon, really great carbon, the S-Works frame on here. So it's a value bike because of that. It's because they have so much great stuff on here, like the Pike, carbon rims, brand new frame. I think this is their middle level dropper post, because I know the comp, the specialized stump jumper comp, comes with the, I think it's an X Fusion dropper post, and then the S-Works comes with a 16, which is all these little bumps. I'm not sure how many this is. I think it's a 12, but don't quote me on that. So in the comments, ask all your questions. I'd love to answer them. Please answer me about oblong chain rings or oval chain rings. I'd love to hear that. Subscribe if you want more content like this. Like, follow me on Instagram at Angry Outdoorsman. And with that, I bid you adieu.